do take your time to get comfy so that as you come into this supported posture, you can really settle in. And some supports also might be to have a blanket, socks on your feet. And when you find that comfy resting posture, and take a few lovely breaths. Taking a few lovely breaths and then just letting the day go. Letting go of any tension that might be sticking in around your shoulders, your jaws. And let the expression on your face soften. Letting the set of the eyes become kind. Letting the jaws gently part, so there's a little bit of space between upper and lower teeth. And let the tension of the mouth give way to a soft, gentle smile. At any point as we rest in this posture, if you find you need to shift the pose or even come out of the pose, then just do that with care. And here, let your attention move towards your breathing as you feel the rising of your inhalation and your exhalation falling away. And let this gentle expression of breathing move through your nose, both inhalation and exhalation. And let your breath awareness move down into your belly. And here, with legs supported, as your abdomen rises and falls, the movement of breath supports the relaxation that we can find in this posture. The movement of the breath in the belly, inviting a softening at the hip flexors. And let's start to wind it down with 5 more breaths. And when those 5 breaths are complete for you, you can start to walk your feet back down to the floor. And if you can swing it, you can just press your chair off the end of your mat. And we'll walk the feet right back down to the floor, landing in constructive rest pose. And we'll let the knees tip to one side and then the other. As your knees tip to one side, let your head turn to the opposite. And we'll start to keep this play of breath and movement and relaxation as we coordinate breathing with the movement. So the next time you inhale, bring yourself right into center and pause there. So just coming to constructive rest pose, breathing in, breathing out. Take a full inhalation. And with your exhalation, let your knees turn to the left and your head turn to the right. And inhale, ease yourself back to center. Exhale, knees to the right and the head rolls to the left. Inhale, bring that back into the center. And so on. We'll keep going. Exhale, knees to one side. Inhale to center. Exhale, turning. You can let your head rotate on the exhalation. Inhale to center. Let's take one more each way. And then we'll bring it to center. Hopefully you have your BackMitra close by. We're just going to use our BackMitras to massage the hips to get the hips ready for some movement. And if you don't have a BackMitra, you can use a rolled up towel. And so we'll place the BackMitra behind the heels, lift hips, and bring the BackMitra up under the sacrum. Arms can maintain that nice wide spread at about shoulder height, which can help you keep your balance here. And then same thing, let's just turn the knees left and right. And if you would like a change from turning your head opposite to the knees, for these few moments here, you can turn your head in the same direction as your knees. As you turn your knees from left to right here, if you feel like you're rocking back and forth on exactly the same spot, go ahead and scooch a little bit as you turn so that the BackMitra is maybe working its way up a little bit higher on the hips, or even down a little bit lower, more toward your sit bones. If that feels great, you can stick with it. If you'd like to add a little more weight into the massage, you can cross your left leg all the way over your right leg. So you're wrapping up your legs like a twist tie, and then your foot can stay on the floor. So your right foot would stay on the floor, or you can bring both your knees into the chest and then rock this way. And so now what we're doing is we're using more body weight to work into the sides of the hips. And then whenever you're ready to, you can switch that cross and turn left and right. Again, making sure that you're not just mushing into one spot on your hips, but letting the BackMitra kind of creep up and down your hips. So you're working into more muscle tissue. And when that feels complete for you, come back to center, unwind the legs, take the BackMitra out from underneath your hips, and then come on all the way down. And we'll bring the right knee into the chest and give your right knee a hug. Here, your left knee can stay bent, or your left leg can straighten out to the foot of your mat. And for your next few breaths here, keep your back nicely rooted into the mat, but let your left leg float up off the floor so it's hovering over the floor, not coming up very high. And we're just going to point and flex the left ankle. Point and flex right into the left toes. Leg is hovering. As the leg hovers, try not to let your lower back arch too much. And then before you run out of all the steam, let that leg come right back down to the ground, and then relax fully. Breathe into the belly. Relax into your toes. And from here, we'll step back into the constructive rest pose, 2 feet standing on the floor. Take a few moments to check in with your sacrum, to check in with the length of the spine, to check in with those 2 hips. And then we're going to bring the left knee into the chest, giving that left knee a hug, stretching out the right leg on the floor. And when you're ready to add that stabilizing, strengthening movement, you can lift the right leg up off the floor, not very high, maybe just an inch or so, and then work into the point and the flex with the right foot. When you're ready to, the right leg comes back down, all the way down. Relaxing right down into your toes. And let's bring both feet back to stand on the floor. And from here, we've done lots of gentle flowing twisting. Here we're going to do a gentle stationary twist. You might find you need a bolster to support your legs or to support between your knees. And it goes like this. We'll set the arms wide apart. Pick up your hips and swing your hips over to the right and put your hips back down. So you have a little bit of a side bend happening. And then we're going to draw both knees into the chest, and knees are going to rotate all the way to the floor on the left. So we're taking that nice big rotation here. And this is where you might notice it would be nice to have maybe a BackMitra underneath your left knee, just to ease out of the twist a little bit. And your head can turn to the right. And we'll pause here. Feel breathing. Feel the body settle. And we'll start to add in the flowing rotation of the bowstring. So now we're starting to invite that rotating flow to come up into the upper spine. So look toward your right hand, bring your right arm up off the mat, off the floor, and reach it across your body over to your left hand. Reach past your left hand as far as that might happen today, and then draw that right arm out wide again. Turn your head to the right to follow the right hand. And we'll do that 3 more times. Right arm reaching forward past the left fingers, and then right arm comes back, rolls out wide. And 2 more times. Forward and back. Forward and back. And as this right arm reaches out wide again, you can just start to roll back onto your feet, bringing the knees up, pick your hips up, scoot yourself just right back to center. You might feel all off kilter after rotating that way. And then we'll pick the hips up again, swing the hips over to the left. Hips come down, knees come into the chest. We'll turn the knees toward the right, supporting your knees however they might need. And so we're choosing the support so that we're not experiencing too much stretch in the spine. And with the knees to the right, your head can turn to the left. And we'll start to add that flow, turning your head to the left hand, let the left arm rise up, reach over toward the right, reach past the right fingers, and then roll it out wide again. And your head turns to follow the left hand, and we'll reach forward again and back. 2 more full rotations here. And on that last return to the left, just to pause. And we'll walk the feet back to the floor. Pick up your hips just so that you can bring them back down squared to the mat. And we'll draw both knees into the chest. And from here, let's rock up to sit. So rock up to sit, and we're going to get the stretchy band. So we'll need some resistance to work with the hips here. If you don't have a stretchy band, the same movements are fine, just more restorative, yeah? So the same movements are fine without the resistance. So I have this band tied together so it's nice and snug, and I'm just gonna slip into it and slide it up over my knees. So it's just above my knees. And I'm just gonna lean back on my hands. So this is where I'm going to start. We don't have to stay upright as we go through this movement, but this is where we'll start, just to get a good sense of the movement from this particular angle at the hips. And so it goes like this. We'll keep our constructive rest legs, and we're just going to take the right knee and press it outward as far as it goes, and then bring it back. And we'll do that 4 more times. Press out, bring it back, press out. As the right knee presses out, the left leg is stabilizing and countering that effort so that both legs, you're using both hips at the same time, but only one of them's moving. When those 5 are complete, take that rotation to the left, press the left out and bring it back. And press it out. As it presses out, you'll roll to the outer edge of your left foot, bring it back. You're looking for that fullest possible range of motion. And hopefully you have a good bit of resistance with the stretchy band. Last one for me, number 5, back to center. Great. From here, let's come down onto our backs. And we're just going to do exactly the same thing, but this time, as we come down, the angle of the hips is more open. So the knees are not quite so close to the chest. Again, we'll step the feet to about the width of the hips, just constructive rest legs, and right leg again, presses out, comes back, presses out, comes back. Let's do 6 more. Nice big range of motion, way out there with the right knee. And this is number 6, last one. Press out, bring it back, and the left leg, left knee presses out, comes back. You're familiar with rolling to the outer edge of your foot, moving the knee as far to the left as you can, externally rotating, abducting. I think we have, my math is right, we have 4 more to do here. Press out, bring it back, press out, bring it back. Going slowly gives us an opportunity to really get good at finding the range of motion. Great. So I feel it on both sides. Nice, strong connection into the hips. which is great. That's just what we're looking for. And now we're going to walk the feet in toward the hips. As the feet walk into the hips, I'm a big fan of walking your heels into your tushy as opposed to using your toes to wedge the heels back. So if you're bringing your heels closer to your tush, you're going to use the back of your legs to make that movement. And so again, we're just working with that nice strong back line. When you have your feet standing close to your hips and a little wider than your sit bones, here we'll press the knees out into the strap just to bring the thighs not quite parallel, a little bit wider at the knee than parallel. And we'll bring the arms down alongside the body. And from here, we're just going to flatten out through the lower back. So you're going to exhale, press your low back into the floor. Keep bracing against your stretchy band. And inhale, let your lower back arch a little bit. So you roll down toward your tailbone and your low ribs will rise up. Flatten out, lower back presses into the floor. And rise up, lower back arches. Again, flattening out and arching. Just a few more of these, maintaining that pressing outward connection into the strap. If you feel like this is bothering your knees or troublesome in some other way, what you want to do is find how you can lighten the load. So that might be your feet don't stand so wide apart, or maybe your feet don't stand so close to the hips. I can totally feel the burn. We'll bring it back to center. Walk your feet closer together and step your feet further apart. And whatever you do, stop bracing against that stretchy band so that your hips can relax for a moment. So here, take a few more breaths. And we have one more move to activate the outer hips. And we're going to start in the same posture as last time. So we'll walk those heels into the hips, walk those heels in and have them wider than the sit bones. Here again, the knees press out into the stretchy band. Curl your tail up. Curl up through your sacrum. We're curling up one vertebra at a time into bridge pose. So we're curling right up to the top of the back. And then once again, on the way down, one vertebra at a time. So the ribs come down one at a time. Keep your tail tucking, keep pressing out into the stretchy band, and then curl down through the lower back and down onto the sacrum and toward the tailbone. And let's do that 3 more times, curling up. Press out into the strap. Curling down. And 2 more times, curling up. Get really good at being able to move in this smooth, sequential way from the bottom to the top of the spine and the top to the bottom. And last one. And when you come back down, draw your knees into your chest. Take that terrible stretchy band off of your knees. Set that aside and let's rock up to sit. So coming up to sit, we're going to just do a little side bending. We'll do a little loosening up movement after all that strengthening for the hips. So I'm sitting cross-legged. You might sit cross-legged, or just however you can sit down on the floor is fine. And we're just going to tip over. Left hand to the floor, little side bend, and please let your right knee come up. So you're really letting all your weight kind of tip over to the side and then come back up. And we'll go the other way. So the right hand comes to the floor and the right elbow can come down as the left knee comes up and then back down. Again to the left, rocking over. On your way back down, just set the knee down. So the right knee, is starting to press to the floor, and then the left arm comes up, and we'll go to the right forearm comes down. Maybe it's just the right fingers, and now the left leg's pressing to the floor. Feels so good in the side of my hip and my lower back. And then come on up over to the left. Here, the right knee can come up and the right arm's going to circle down in front of you and then reach overhead. As the right arm reaches overhead, the right knee is going to press down to the floor. And let's pause here for a moment. And the right arm's going to circle down in front. And we'll come back up. Right elbow to the mat, tipping over. Left knee comes up, left arm circles under, in front, overhead. Left knee pushes to the floor. Left arm reaches overhead. Little pause. Left arm circles downward in front. And one more time, over to the left. So we're tipping over. This time the right arm's going to circle down in front. Circle overhead, right knee's pressing to the floor. And then the right arm's going to circle up, and that's going to bring us up and over to the right. Left arm circles down in front, across, overhead, and then all the way up. That felt so good. Let's do it one more time. Over to the left, right arm down and around and all the way up. Right arm down, left arm circles around, all the way up, and we'll come back up. Wonderful.